Hello students, let's read the problem. And it says, what is the range of the quadratic function below when the domain is -3 less than x less than or equals to 8? So I'm looking for range, right? And if we're looking for range, what's gonna come to my mind? Well, I gotta think about the y-axis. I gotta think about the y-coordinate, right? Because the range has to do with the y values, okay? Now, we do have a domain, which means that once, if I was to graph it, right, or evaluate my function, the restrictions are from a -3 to a +8. And we'll see what that means in a minute. But the first thing I want to do is I actually want to find the vertex for this, okay? Now, remember why is vertex so important? Because vertex is the turning point of your parabola. So the vertex can easily be your lowest point on that range, but it can also be the highest point of your range, right? So it's very important that we can find the vertex. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna write down the vertex form for this one. Luckily for us, the function is already in vertex form. So I'm just going to write down the formula right below that. So this will be a parenthesis x minus h squared plus k. Okay, so h and k will be my vertex, right? So my h, it's a +2, and my k is a +5. So now I know that my vertex, it's 2 and 5, which 5 is the number that matters for me. Because remember that range has to do with y values, okay? So before I graph it, I want to see if I can evaluate my function. Now remember, the way that I want to evaluate this is going to be with the -3 for x. So we're going to rewrite my function and we'll replace values in just a minute. Okay, so x will be replaced with a -3. We'll work it out. And of course, I'm looking for the f of -3, right? Okay, so f of -3 is equals to -5 to the second power, or -5 squared. It's 25 plus 5, it's 30. Okay, so we found one point. So remember, when x is -3, the y value, it's a 30. And we're going to use those when we graph it. So let's do the next one. So now I'm going to evaluate my function with a +8. So I'm going to say f of 8, it's equals to, let's write down the function, because I'm trying to find the value for the y when x is 8. So I'm going to say 8 minus 2 squared plus 5. So f of 8 equals 8 minus 2 is 6. 6 squared is a 36. And 36 plus 5 is a 41. So my other point here is going to be when x is 8, the y value will be 41. Okay, so we actually looking at the numbers 30 and 41. Is that right? Because those are going to be the ones that I need. So let's go ahead and graph it. So I'm going to make a graph over here. And I'm going to graph it already. So if you haven't, we can guide you on that right now. And you can see how did I get those numbers. Okay, so I have my graph right here. Okay, so I'm going to go back and place the value just so that you can see where my numbers are coming from. Well, first of all, I want to find the vertex, which I said it was 2 and 5. So this is a 2, and I'm going by 5s. So this is my vertex right there. I told you that was going to be a very important point for us, right? Okay, now the other point that I'm going to find will be -3 and 30. Okay, so if I want to find -3 and 30, this is -3. I know they're skipping a line, but that's okay. -3 and 30 is right there, and that's my circle. Now, notice why that circle is not shaded. because right here, do you notice how the -3, it's right next to a inequality that has not a line underneath. So therefore, we use this symbol for that one, okay? On the other side, since it's shaded, we can use either one of these two because it has that shaded section, which is equals to, okay? Now, the other point is 8, which is right here, and 41, just above the 40. That's my other point, okay? So why do I need to not just rely on the -3 and 8? Because the vertex is the one that is going to determine what's your lowest or what's your highest point from one side of the parabola, okay? So what we're going to do next is think about building the fence that we talk about, right? So I will build the fence on the lowest number, which is a +5. Is that right? And again, I'm looking at the y-axis. Okay, so I'm looking only at the numbers above the 5. But do I stop right there? Do I stop at 30? No, because the fence that I'm going to draw cannot go through the 30. It's going to go right above the 40, which is right there. You guys see my range now? So my shaded section goes all the way to 41. Okay, so my range is all the values less than or equals to 41, but greater than or equals to a +5. Is that right? Notice how the 30, we did not need that one. Okay, it was given to us, but it's not part of the range. Okay, so my answer for this then, it's answer choice. Yes. Yes, if you say C, you are correct. That's the answer. Okay?